y'all? Farmer Dre back at it. It's another cold day here on the farm. But I'm gonna go ahead and show you guys the blackberries and how they're looking and how the crop was this year, and just a complete blackberry summary for the year of 2021. By the time you guys are seeing this video, it is Thanksgiving, and there's many things to be thankful about. And for here on our farm, we're thankful for the opportunity we have here to serve so many customers and be able to do what I love every single day. So I'm very thankful for that. And of course, we're always thankful, and I'm always thankful for all you guys, my subscribers. You guys are the ones that make the channel. You guys are the ones that, you know, without you guys, I wouldn't have a channel and I wouldn't have the opportunities I do have. So I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for everything you guys have done for me and that you guys will continue doing in the future. But yeah, there's many things to be thankful about, and just take a couple minutes today and just think about it. You know, like, what am I thankful for? And if you really think about it, you know, there is no reason for us to not be thankful, and there's no reason for us to complain and be unsatisfied with our lives. So, you know, there's always more good than bad happening in our lives. And, you know, if you just think about the basic stuff, I mean, if you got a house and a bed to live in, you know, that's the majority. You're more well off than I think I saw a statistic a while back that if you have a nice clean bed to live in and a house to sleep in, you are more well off than like 35% in the world or something like that. So yeah, there's always things to be thankful about, but just take a couple minutes out of the day and just think and meditate on that. And enough of the sobby story, time to get to blackberries. I saw back in the summer when we were harvesting and picking blackberries, and if you guys follow the channel, you guys know that we lost about 90% of our blackberry crop this year to cold and the frost. So 2021, we had some cold events come through. Back in spring, or late winter, early spring, back in February, it got down to -14. One night got down to -11. The second night it got down to -14. We did have these the row covers, but at those temperatures, there's not much you can do. So blackberries are fairly susceptible. I mean, if you get below 0 degrees, then you start running into issues. It's kind of like peaches. If it gets below -7, you lose about 90% of your crop. So with the blackberries, we did cover them, and we did see some crop loss to that. And then April 21st, it got down to 23 degrees here on the farm for about 5 hours. So it was cold. We had 2 freezing cold events that took a toll on our crops, and we did lose 90% of our blackberry crop this year. And this is just the blackberries, but we lost a lot more, you know, with the peaches and the apples and all the other crops we have. But with the blackberries, you know, a 90% crop loss is a big deal. Blackberries were going in their 3rd season, so they're 3 years old now. Next spring they'll be 4 years old, and we did plant them on the RCA trellis, the rotating cross-arm trellis system, where this entire arm here of blackberries, entire wall, flips over, and then you have the blackberries on one side of the trellis system. And the benefit to the RCA trellis system is it makes it way easier when you're picking, harvesting, and then to get a much higher quality fruit. And initially you get more pounds of blackberries per acre because you're training them to that system, and it's way easier to pick. And since we're primarily a U-pick operation, we got to make the experience for everybody who comes up to our farm very pleasant, very easy, and very beautiful. So with blackberries, if you guys have ever picked out of a traditional system, you guys know that it's hard to reach into a bush and to pick, and it's a lot harder to do on the traditional system to pick blackberries. But on this system, whenever all the berries are on one side, it makes it really easy and convenient for the customers to come out here. They pick a box in a few minutes. So that's the benefit of this system. The RCA trellis system was created by a farmer up in Illinois or Indiana, somewhere in that area. And, you know, over the years, the farmers have adopted this system and are perfecting it. So initially, the ideal plan is you plant the plants 5 foot apart. You train the main primocanes horizontally to the ground. You cut the tips, and you get a bunch of these side branches, the lateral branches, and that is what you fill up your trellis system with. And over the years, the farmers have planted it, and we have an acre and a half of blackberries planted on our farm in the RCA trellis system. And over the years, farmers have realized that one of the biggest downsides to the RCA trellis system is the labor involved into producing the crop. So if you were just a blackberry farmer and all you had was blackberries, it's not too much to deal with because all your energy and focus is on one crop. But if you're like us, where you have multiple crops, you know, you have strawberries, blueberries, blackberries, apples, peaches, tomatoes, and of course a lot of produce and stuff that we do. So blackberries isn't our main crop, and a lot of the farmers that are planting this system, they have very similar operations to what we do, and they have multiple crops. So we cannot focus all of our time and energy on just one crop. Being able to focus our time and energy on just one crop, you know, over the years, we were starting to see some of the downsides to the RCA trellis system. And one of the biggest downsides is the labor involved into training them. You pretty much need a crew of people to come out here, you know, 2 to 3 guys a week to come through here, train your plants, trellis them, clean them up nicely. And for us here on our farm, we're mainly all family who do all the labor. And a lot of times, whenever we're not picking out of a crop, we just kind of like neglect it and let it go. And that's just a bad part on our side. That's what happened to these blackberries here. Last year, we trained them perfectly. We trained them right. And then we lost 90% of a crop this year. And unfortunately, you know, we can't control the weather. So we had no power over that. So for us, you know, when we started picking and harvesting, we saw how much crop we did lose. So it was really hard to motivate us to get back to training the blackberries and to get them back to how they're supposed to. And this past summer, I did go to a blackberry school or seminar down in Arkansas, and Arkansas is known for the blackberry production. A lot of blackberries, commercial blackberries, do come out of Arkansas. The guys at University of Arkansas, they have the research station there. So the variety, like the Natchez here, this was bred at Arkansas. So they're really diverse and they know a lot more about blackberries than we do here in Missouri. So they're, you know, they're really good at training the farmers and teaching them. And of course, they got the breeding program there. So I went down there for a seminar, a class, and you know, that the same problem we're having with our blackberries, the whole labor issue, and farmers are realizing that, you know, it's not that cost effective. You got to pay someone every single week to come out here. We're not the only ones seeing that problem. It's a problem throughout the entire industry, or everybody who is doing the RCA trellis system. So I went down there to learn and to see what other farmers are doing and what the guys out of Arkansas are doing from the university to help with that problem. And the RCA trellis system, just here in Missouri, a couple years ago, the research station down in Mount Vernon, they did a trial, and ever since then, a few farmers in this area adopted this system. And it's like anything else. You don't know what the issues, the pros and cons are until you've done it for a couple years. I went down to Arkansas with an open mind and saying, what is there to be, what are other farmers doing, and what are other, what are they saying about the RCA trellis system? And of course, University of Arkansas is really good at being on top of it, and they are already working on some other methods of training the blackberries and other methods of figuring out the problems for the farmers. And the nice thing about University of Arkansas and all the universities, they're really good about listening to what the farmers have to say. And of course, you know, without the farmers planting their crops, they wouldn't have a motive to do all that research. So the University of Arkansas was really good at that. And I got to talking to some of the guys from over there. I met a lot of good farmers and just going back and forth discussing the system. Now I have a new and great idea in my mind that I want to do with these blackberries. But before I share that, I want to show you what we did with these blackberries right here. Find the weedy mess here. We haven't really put too much time and energy into these. We will here in a couple weeks. But initially with these blackberries, initially all these primocanes here would be trained horizontally, and all these lateral branches would be here coming to the top wire. But what we did this year is we let the blackberries grow as is, and we just got these plants and just threw them on top of this trellis system like there. And we just did this to keep them off the ground. We probably got to come through here now and retrain these and just organize them nicely on the trellis system so that the RCA trellis will be have good effect on it. But yeah, that's all we did. We just got these plants, threw them on top here, and that's about it. So it's a little unorganized right now, but we still got to come through here, like I mentioned, clean them up nicely and get them up to where we want them. The system that I saw out in Arkansas that I was really interested in, and I might try on a few rows here on our farm this next year, is a farmer down there that I was talking to and I met. he is planting blackberries on the same system, the same trellis system. But what he's doing is he's planting the plants a lot closer together. So these plants here are 5 foot apart, and what he's doing is he's planting them 3 foot apart or 2.5 foot apart, and he's putting another plant here in the center. And then mid-season, whenever these prima canes are growing, he's getting these prima canes and chopping them, about 24 to 16 inches to 24 inches above the ground wire there. He's chopping them right there. So then all the lateral branches will be coming in from underneath here like this. So you can see this lateral branch here that we trained and tied up there. This is coming from the base of that. So if we were to chop this right here, all the energy and power would be coming out of these, and then you're able to trellis them. And it's called, this is what they were just calling it. It's calling the fan system because it looks like a fan. So all these are coming up here and just fans right up. So that is the new and greatest, I guess, idea that a lot of the farmers are doing. And I might try it on a couple rows here. Just so all the manual labor is required for that system. Just come through here in May or June and just come through here and chop these prima canes, cut off the apical meristem, and then all the lateral branches will be coming out of the side here. And then in the fall, whenever you get through with cutting out the old floor canes, you come out here, slap the new ones on the trellis system, and then you will have to worry about having the all this mess and thick canes here to deal with. The only downside to that system is it requires more plants per acre. So that's why I said I want to try it out and see how it goes. But overall, if you're a U-pick operation and you enjoy, having your customers, whenever you see your customers having a pleasant experience, you always want to do the best you can to continue having that experience for your customers, for you to offer that. So that's the thing. The RCA trellis is really good. It's really effective. It works really nice. But we just got to fine tune the growing system and the growing practices to be able to make it easier on our side and on our part as a farmers and us moving forward. But yeah, this rotating cross arm works really good. I mean, this entire arm comes back down, it rotates, and you can't complain about it. The only thing is we got to fine tune the plants now and get it going the way we like it. And of course, it makes it easier for us as farmers. Kind of the summary of the crop that we harvested here. So 3-year-old plants, generally, if you have a good year and you train them right, the research shows that you should see up to 5 pounds of production per linear foot. So we have 1,000 foot of blackberries planted out here, and we should have harvested at least 25,000, give her 20 to 25,000 pounds of blackberries on this 1.5 acres we have here on the RCA trellis system. But we did lose, like I mentioned, about 90% of our crop. So we only ended up harvesting about 1,500 pounds of blackberries out of here. So it was really disappointing at the end of the season when we added all the numbers up and we realized how much we've lost. And it kind of, in the moment we were discouraged to say, why should we put more time and energy into training them if we're going to have a bad year? But you can't let something like that mess with your mind and mess with your operation, just because next year we might have a really good crop and it's going to pay for itself then. But yeah, it's just, the blackberries, they did okay for us this year. Majority of them were U-picked. We took some to the farmer's market as well. But yeah, whenever you're, instead of picking, whenever in your mind, whenever you're supposed to pick 25,000 pounds and you only pick 1,500 pounds, it's kind of disappointing. That is a story on the blackberries. Like I said, we got to come through here now and train all of these up vertically and put these about 6 inches apart here and continue training them. But we just got, we just took the plants off the ground and threw them on the trellis system now so that we can come through here and just manage them, because these plants grow like crazy. I mean, if you're fertilizing them right, they'll grow like crazy. And this trellis system here, you can see we just kind of threw these plants on here without doing much to them. So now, like I mentioned, got to come through here and put all these up here. Like this lateral branch, pick it up off the ground, train it up nicely and get it ready for next year. So that is a story on the blackberries here on our farm. And like I said, there's a lot of things to be learning. And if you think you know everything about a crop or about a system, well, don't, because I thought I knew everything about the RCA trellis system. I did all my research, about all the research I could done that is available out there. And then whenever you get to doing it hands-on, you realize that, there's better and easier ways to be doing things. and what works for other people might not work for your operation. Yeah, so that is a story of blackberries on our farm, and I guess that's it. We got a lot of plans and stuff moving forward, but for now we have other plans we're working on the other crops we do have. Like, we got to cover the strawberries with row covers, but you know, now until April things are slowing down, but we still have a lot of work we got to get done and accomplished. So it's just one of those things where we don't need to get it done right away, but if we don't get it done, it's going to kick us back in the butt later on this spring. But there's always so many things to be doing. But you know, that's part of the beauty of having an operation and working on it, and just keep it going. So this time I'm gonna go ahead and end off the video. If you guys haven't already, go and hit that subscribe button, smash that like button if you guys enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to check out Real Farmer Dre Supply for all your gardening and your farming needs. And I want to say thanks for watching up to this point. You guys have a good day, and we will see you next time.